Testing. Already doing it. I just got to figure out how to share screens. Put this on both screens.
All right. Well, while you do that, I'm gonna take this food off the stove.
Okay.
I have not eaten today.
Oh no, not good. I'm going live on Facebook.
Oh,
Takes a minute.
You said right now?
It's preparing the live streaming preview.
Okay.
So I'm gonna see how it looks because it's my first time doing it with two people. I see you. Okay, I need it. Dear Shay. Okay, hold on a second. I don't want to hide. Oh, is it high self view? I got time. I got 4 minutes.
Okay.
Just to figure out how you do this.
Oh, you got it. Just keep playing. I just keep clicking, but it's still happening.
I know. Multiple can share some. I don't care about that. Two, and more. Okay, is that it? Oh, view. Hold on. View. Gallery. There we go. Okay. Now let me go back and check Facebook. Okay, I got it right.
I need to give you 30 minutes, all right?
You ready?
I am.
I don't see you.
You say you don't see me?
No. I just
What?
Oh, now I see you. It's delayed if I'm looking on Facebook.
Oh.
Oh, weird. Okay, so when I start, it's gonna be delayed.
Okay.
So I'm about to go live.
Doesn't sound delayed to me though.
I'm trying to look at it at the same time. You know, so
Oh, you looking at it? Yeah, it's gonna be delayed looking at it. Oh, we're live.
Yeah, we are live. We are live.
We are family. I got all my sisters and me.
Oh, oh.
You know I don't know the rest of the words. We are family.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Good evening, good evening, good evening. As you can see, we already have started the party tonight.
Hey guys.
I am here with Bunnie Mae.
Hi.
And we have figured this out so that you guys can hear us.
We got it. We got it.
So welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, Bunnie. So I have we talked a lot the last time, and I don't think people really heard everything that we were saying.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask some questions all over again. Okay?
Give them to me.
Okay. So my first question is, because I've been thinking about this today, because I've just been filled today after this week and
Yes.
Miss Candace speaking over our lives this week.
Yes.
I have been motivated, inspired, and like, okay, God, I know I've said yes before, but I'm saying yes, 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 complete yes.
Yes.
So when did you know? When did you realize what your calling was?
Oh man, that's a good question actually. So when I was a kid, I used to just talk, right? Like I just talked all the time. And
okay, first of all, so I don't ever want you to fuss at my god babies, okay? All right.
Listen, my talking and they talking are two different things. That's not normal. I don't understand it. But when I was a kid, I used to talk all the time. And I used to sit up and watch Oprah and I would say, I want to be like Oprah. Then I realized I was like, I'm a little more laid back, a little more unconventional than Oprah. So I used to be like, I want to be like Ellen, right? So I grew up saying I wanted to be like Ellen. And my grandmother, I actually went to school for journalism and communications because I just couldn't stop talking. Like it was just a passion of mine. Talking and writing, just ways that I express myself. I'm very vocal. So my grandmother used to say that I would end up on television one day. And she would always say, you're something to do with TV. You're just too good at talking. And I really didn't know that the way that I speak is a gift. Yeah. I just talk. Like it's just who I am.
But it flows and it's all connected in the transitions. And a lot of people have to learn that. That's a natural gift for you.
Well, I didn't understand it because I talk so much. I usually talked enough for everybody. So I really didn't pay attention to the fact that others weren't responding to me. Yeah. So I knew kind of young that my gift was the gift of gab, as some like to say. And then it just expanded from there. I strayed away from it for a long time. I tried to go, I went through a lot of things in life that almost made me be quiet, in a sense to speak.
So let's go and hit that. What happened that almost made you be quiet? What caused you to lose sight of it? Because a lot of that happens to so many young women. It happens to young men where we have our dream is like a dream deferred, and that's what happens. So what was your incident, or what was the incidents that led you up to almost deferring your dream?
It was a series of incidents. It wasn't any one particular thing. It kind of started when I was 19 and it went until I was about 21, 22.
Okay.
In most people's life, they would say that's like their wild stage, or they're figuring themselves out, or whatever phase they want to call it. They're still really, really young. But knowing that I had a gift for something that was to be used in a certain way, I knew at a young age that what I was doing was walking away from my gift. I didn't have to find it. I already had it. I just walked away from it. I just, I had my moment. That's as like I like to call it. So it was a series of events. I started out. I had my daughter really young. I was 19 when I had my oldest daughter, and from there it just kind of, I wasn't ready. I was not mentally prepared. I was not emotionally prepared. I was not financially prepared to kind of deal with the things that came in life after having children. So it downward spiraled for me because I wasn't as mature as I should have been, handling a lot of situations. So when I hit, I think 21 or 22, I kind of was like, all right, get it together, girl. Like, you already, like, throughout these years, my gift of talking never went away. It never left me. It never, I still was in school for it at the time. So it never really left my life. I just kind of stepped away from it. So I kind of woke up then at 21, 22 and was like, you know what? This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And then when I started on my journey to what I'm doing, which fast forward still took another about 4 or 5 years to kind of get my groove. And then when I started, it still was an uphill journey from there. It still was a battle to get to the peak.
Why would you say it was a battle?
Because I'm very unconventional. I would say that because I'm very unconventional. Like, I did not like the traditional standards of writing. I did get my start in journalism. If you guys know me, y'all know I write just how I speak. So there are no words to be construed. There's no I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna hear my voice when you read my writing. And working for news outlets just wasn't fitting for me. Working for certain magazines just was not allowing me the freedom that I needed to just write and really express myself. So it was at that time when I was doing it, it wasn't as popular as it is now. So it was a little bit of a kind of get your foot in the door and kick the door open, that type of thing. But it was a journey. It's still a journey. It's still a journey, but I absolutely love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So
some days.
That's the days you keep telling me I want to quit. I'm done.
I quit, but I never give up. I always say that. I always tell myself I'll quit like every other day. I quit. But I never give up. So that's really
Explain that logic. Explain that.
A car battery quits. The car itself still works. You just need to put a new battery in it. That's my logic when it comes to it. Like, just let me recharge.
Yeah, because sometimes you can just recharge a battery and bring it back.
There you go. Sometimes I just need that recharge, and just the mental mindset of saying I quit. It just relieves some unknown pressures. They'll be there when I say I'm doing it again. They'll still be there, but in that moment, it allows me a freedom of mind to be, I have no worries. I quit. Why would I worry? What is there to worry about?
So what would you say? Because I know we've talked a lot about taking that time to, like you said, to recharge. What do you do when you take your time to recharge? For me, I like to go, I try and do it once a year, where I go to a hotel room by myself for a day and just literally decompress from everything. I don't think about the kids. I don't think about work. I don't think about home. I don't think about nothing. Just take that time.
the funniest thing about that is that I actually used to do that as well. I would get a room, but when I got with my fiance now, he used to think that it was so strange that I would just get a room by myself and just do nothing. And he just didn't understand. I was like, it literally is just like, you have to just let it all go. Like, you need a moment where I'm not worried about, yes, the lights are going to be on because the light bill is paid. Yes, the water is going to be hot because the water bill is paid. Like, you just don't have the mental stress of what, not even stress, but the mental day-to-day of what it is to just be in society.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I do for sure. I still do it now. And then I try to do small things every day that I enjoy. It's not always easy for me to get in a moment to myself, but I'm the type of person that a lot of small things add up to big things. So a guilty pleasure of mine is watching Family Guy or American Dad, right? If I can get 30 minutes of Family Guy or American Dad in my day, I promise you I'm good the rest of the day.
So mine is, as you know, my favorite thing for myself is Golden Girls. I love the Golden Girls. And then I'm a big advocate of taking a bath with candles and just music and just zoning out. And that has always been my thing. But I do believe that we as women need to take those times to ourselves to recharge, because as a mother, as a partner, we tend to give ourselves to everybody else, and then we're left empty. And then it's like, okay, we expect everybody else to recharge us, but that's not going to happen.
It doesn't work like that. And it took me, I think I'm still kind of in the process of learning that it doesn't work that way. We've had several conversations of like, I'm just drained, or I just can't, I don't know what I'm supposed to do or how I'm supposed to maneuver. And it's because I'm giving so much that I'm not allowing myself to be filled. And in my mind, I'm filling it with helping others. I'm feeling it by supporting others. I'm feeling it by motivating others. And in that process, I'm not realizing that I'm still giving to others.
Right.
So, you literally have to disconnect for a moment and just take that time, like, yeah, this is me.
And let's think about that. That's what God used to do. God would go, and he would go away from the disciples. He would take the boat to the other side and go and pray and meditate and commune with his Father. And then he would come back. It would just be like a day. And he would come back, and they'd be like, okay, where you been?
That's crazy. I never really made that connection of, even Jesus had to walk away, take a step away and reset. So it's nothing, because so often as women, we often feel guilty for taking self-time.
I feel guilty taking a nap on a Saturday in the middle of the day, and there's nothing that I need to do. There's nowhere I need to be. The house is clean. And yet, if I sit down for 5 minutes, I feel like,
I was always told idle mind is the devil's workshop. So I always found ways to keep myself busy. Even when I was sitting still, my mind would be on something.
I really need to research that.
I'm not sure. I think
what happens when your mind is going too fast and you don't have time to listen to God? We talked about it this week. What were we told to do? We were supposed to
sit still, listen,
and listen. Wait.
Chill. Basically, chill out.
Chill out for a second, because God has some things he needs to tell us, and we need to do.
With the quickness, because we were moving too fast, and sometimes, and that's crazy, because my father is a pastor, so he would actually tell me, sit still. And as a 19 and 20-year-old, I have 2 jobs. I have a kid. I'm in school. I want to hang out with my friends. I'm moving to this place. I think I moved to Atlanta when I was 19. Like, I was doing so much that I was like, what do you mean sit still? Sit still for what? Like, sit still and my bill's not going to get paid. Like, that was my mindset at the time.
Yeah,
now that I'm a lot older. Yeah, now that I'm older and I have a lot more wisdom, now I understand what he meant by sometimes you just have to slow down and sit still.
Yeah. Because that's where you can hear God actually speaking to you. If we're so busy moving and doing, we have no room to hear him talk to us.
At all.
And to find out what direction he wants us to go. And then we wind up going in our own direction. Right? And it's way left. And
you know, sometimes
all the way back around.
You gotta come all the way back around. And now you mad because you gotta start over where you started at.
And we'd be like the children of Israel, 40 years wandering. And literally the promised land wasn't that far. There was no reason for them to be wandering for all that time. But because they didn't take the time, they would listen for a little bit. And then they would just, okay, you're not moving fast enough, God. I need to do this on my own. Okay. And then they wander some more.
And a lot of times when you move too fast, you misconstrue. Like you may think that it's God talking to you, and really it's, you know, someone else's opinion that's replaying in your head, or your subconsciousness, or something that you've seen or heard just through everyday life. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you can be like, oh, this is a sign. Did God send you that sign, or is it just a sign? So, you know, because a lot of people are so hard. I need to see.
Sometimes I think we look too hard for signs. Like we
listen.
Literally
anything that God has wanted to tell me that was imperative to me needing to know, He said it to me in a way where I was very clear that it was Him speaking to me or through me. You know, there was no, I had to look for a sign. When it was something that was meant for me to hear, I knew automatically that it was coming from Him to be heard. So that looking for signs is not necessarily something that I maneuver in.
Right. So what happens when God tells you something very specific and yet you're like, yeah, no. Has it ever happened to you where you're like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that? And then what are the consequences? Because I know I've done it several times.
So I call it the Noah complex in my head. I always compare myself to Noah's situation where, you know, I think, you know, God at that point had reached down and tapped me on the shoulder and told me personally that it was my job to build an ark. I would have been like, yeah, bro, that is not happening. Like, and that's just honesty, you know, like, I don't even know what is the ark. Take me back to the beginning. What, you know?
They had no rain.
Absolutely. There have been
nothing.
Didn't know what rain was, had never.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Didn't know what a boat was, let alone an ark. I mean, listen, where am I get this wood from? How am I do animals too? Oh God, listen, we need to talk. But there absolutely have been times in my life where I, you know, was told to do something and I did not listen. However, every single time that I've made the conscious decision to not listen, it's always come back in my life for a second opportunity. And in the second opportunity, I usually would take that opportunity, and it always was harder than what it should have been. So God still opens that door for me. However, He doesn't give me the doorway with the slide. Now I have the doorway with the steps because I was hard-headed and I didn't want to listen the first time around. So I've always, and I consider myself extremely blessed because every opportunity that I've passed on, I've had the opportunity to redeem myself for it. And it's been tough. Like, you know, it's tough sometimes because it's common sense. We want to be like, no. You want me to sit in the belly of a whale? No. Like just, you know what I'm saying?
So, like you think about Noah and I think about Abram. When Abram, God told him to go to some land he had never been to, never heard of, and just go, pick up and go. Like, go where? Do what? What am I supposed to do when I go there? Just go. Just go.
Listen, I just, you know, and we still have assignments like that now, which is crazy. We still have assignments and calling on our lives that we look at, we're just like, yeah, no. I promise you, if you see that opportunity and you know that it's coming from God, please take it. Please take
it. Don't go the hard route.
Don't go the hard route. Listen to me. Don't go the hard route.
Because the hard route,
you're gonna be okay either way, but don't go the hard route.
No. It's not fun. It's definitely not a fun way to do it or to go.
No. That just if it was fun. Listen, stop playing.
So here's the question. Everybody asks these questions, and the challenge is going on now about then you as a kid, you would now. What would you tell how old is Charisma?
Oh, Christmas 7.
Okay, so I was right. What would you tell your
What would I tell
7-year-old
my
self?
7-year-old?
What would you tell your 7-year-old self?
Keep talking. Like, I would just tell myself to keep talking. Never let anyone dim your voice. Never let anyone stop you from talking. There were so many times where I was told, you talk too much, or, why are you still talking? Or I would out talk someone else. And, I've learned over the time that light got dim. And I wish I never taken that opportunity to dim it myself, listening to what others say. So I would tell my 7-year-old self to just keep talking. It's what you do, it's who you are. Keep talking. I could go into detail, but if I'm talking to 7 years old, like, listen, I was hard-headed then, I'm hard-headed now, okay? That's all I'm gonna understand, is keep talking.
I would tell myself to stay fearless. I just remember being 7 years old and I literally was fearless. I didn't, like, me, I have the anxiety levels get crazy. Like, I'm so happy at this point in my life right now. God is blessing me, blessings upon blessings. And all I'm like is, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? What's going to stop? And it kills that happiness. It kills the enjoyment of the moment. But I was fearless as 7-year-old. I would jump off of the jungle gym. I would do backflips and front flips. I would stand on my, I just was fearless. And then I don't know what happened. Something happened. You got to a certain age, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, you should be afraid of this stuff. No.
Yeah. Or some stuff like you flipped off a jungle gym and you scraped your knee. Now you don't want to jump on there anymore, but you still miss the actual thrill of jumping off of the jungle gym. It doesn't go away.
My second grade self, literally, I haven't told very many people. Everybody in the second grade was breaking their arms. Okay. So my mission.
What?
They were all, everybody's arm was getting broke. They were getting the cast, and everybody was writing all these notes on their arms and their names, and they were getting all this attention.
We didn't do an investigation. How was it that everybody in second grade was broke? What?
Everybody was breaking their arms in second grade. And I was like, I want to break my arm. I want to have a cast. I want everybody to sign it. So I literally, this is how God protects fools and babies. Literally kept trying to jump certain ways so I could land on my arm to break it. The guy was like, yeah, we're not gonna let that happen.
He was probably like, ma'am.
And I think about that. I think about that. So I think about that. Now I'm laughing about that, but I think about my whole entire life. And I told you this today. Like, Lorinda posted one song on Facebook. I went to listen to it because I never heard about it. And then all of a sudden, my playlist just started going and going and going. And God was speaking to me. And he was reminding me of every time in my life that he protected me from stupid decisions, trying to fit in and not be who I was called to be, basically. If I look at it now at 45 years old, that's what I see. And that's what I know.
What's crazy is I got to that point late in my life where, and I can't even say late because I'm still young. But I got it. I got it to a point in my life where, normally kids succumb to social pressure, peer pressure in high school. I was cool. I was good. I was myself. I didn't do anything I really didn't have any business to. I was a good kid. I think after that, however, I was so caught up with this good girl image that I kind of just went wild. I just had that moment like, hey,
I don't want to be this no more. I want to enjoy. What would you tell someone who's going through that? Because there are so many young ladies, they go through high school, they do everything they're supposed to do, they go to college, they do everything, and then all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, I don't want to be in this mold anymore. I want to venture out away from what my true self is really. And
do it.
Do it.
Do it. I mean, be wise about your decisions. You know, now that you're older, know that your decisions are going to come with consequences, whether good or bad. So be smart about what you want to do and how you maneuver, but do it. I mean, a huge fear of mine is one is to die alone, and two is regret. Like, I never want to look back on my life and say I didn't do such and such. And then when you ask yourself, well, why didn't you do it? I don't know. There you go. I don't know. Like, that literally is the biggest reason that people say that why they did or did not do something. I don't know. So I would rather say I don't know because I did something versus I don't know and I didn't do something. Because now I feel crazy twice. Yeah. I'd rather feel just crazy once. With like, I don't know. I just felt like it. Versus, I don't know. I never did it. Like, I've always lived my life like that. And that has ups and downs, of course. But a huge thing for me is regret. So anyone going through that phase in their life where they feel like they want to explore different things, they want to learn about different cultures. I know I got to a space in my life where, because I was so brought up in the church, that I actually explored other religions, not for my personal use, but because I was never taught about them. I was never explained what something means or why people maneuver a certain way. Yeah. So it's not just because I learned about it doesn't mean that I have to incorporate it into my life. So, you know, I got into that phase where I just was like trying stuff. So absolutely, just do it. You want to?
What's the benefit for you that you think that has helped you with doing that?
With just doing it. Well, doing it per se. Some of my, like, it allows a sense of freedom. Like, there for so long, I feel like I was under a shadow or other people's opinions or perspectives, and I cared too much about what other people thought or how other people saw me. Yeah. When you start just doing things that you really want to do because you want to do it, that starts to drop off. And there's a certain freedom that comes with not living up to anyone else's expectations.
Well, I can promise you, because we're both pastors' kids, that living up to other people's expectations when you start at a young age being a pastor's kid, because the pressure of a pastor's kid is tremendous. It's really, really hard. And so you get into that cycle of hiding what you really feel. You get into the cycle of thinking about what everybody else thinks about you and trying to make sure they don't think this about you so that you come off as pristine and perfect.
You didn't want to embarrass your parents, so you made sure that you maneuvered in a certain way.
And then you become an adult.
I know all about it. And and then you grow over,
It stifles you as an adult.
Absolutely. It absolutely does. And one of the things that I've learned over time is that, you know, when I grew older and I began to speak with my father, who was the pastor, I realized that he's human. You know, he has flaws. As a child, I put him on this pedestal, like, oh, you're this, you're that, rah. And you get older and you're like, oh, you're human just like me. You're going to make mistakes. You've made mistakes. You know, it's just about, you know, doing better moving forward. And when I came to that, it was a weight lifted off of me because I felt so much that I had to live up to his expectations or other people's expectations of what it meant. When I saw that he wasn't perfect, I'm like, oh, I'm good. We're good.
Yeah, no, for real. I think now that I'm at this age, it's just now where I'm starting to be like, I don't care what people think.
So do you feel like there is maybe, does age have something to do with it? Is it easier to feel the way that we feel now at a younger age? Because I see some people, they grow up kind of with like no filter. They kind of just are like, you know, the way we are now, they were younger. But do you think that maybe I'm not going to say smarter, but maneuvering in that way at a younger age?
Easier for me. I tried very, very hard, and I think I see this with you with your children. I tried very, very hard to let them know that you can literally be and whoever you want to be. Like, I got your back. I totally got you. I support you. I love you. I don't want you to make bad choices. There are consequences for every choice you make. There's good consequences. There are bad consequences. Just know that whatever decision you make, that's going to happen, and you got to accept it. And I told them that from a very young age, but I always wanted them to feel like they could be and do whatever, and that I wasn't saying, oh, I only want you to do this, I only want you to do that. Everybody has their expectations on you, and I have expectations as far as education, and I want you to succeed in school and classes, but your personality is who your personality is. You know, I mean, there's you know, you don't want to break a child's spirit, I would say.
Yes.
And I feel like parents in a certain age bracket, and they weren't trying to, I don't think they understood, but they didn't have that same mentality where they realized, oh, I got to protect this child's spirit. They were just doing the best that they could. My child, they grew up in the 50s, in the 60s. So they were like, you a Black woman, you can't do this, you can't act like this, you can't behave this way, because if you do, then they're gonna treat you like this, and they're gonna see you like this. And no, 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 because that's the way they grew up. So they embedded in us in a way of, okay, I can't let them see me this way. I can't behave this way because I'm a Black woman, and it's gonna reflect on me even worse than it would anybody else. And so I feel like that's the way they saw us as kids and try to raise us. Whereas we're like, okay, I get it. I'm a Black woman. The struggle is real because it hasn't gone away. But now I want to empower my daughter to be like, I'm gonna knock this door down. If this is where I want to go, then I will knock the door down and get there. I'm not gonna wait. I'm not gonna change who I am for someone to accept me. I'm gonna be me 100% of the time, period.
It definitely is different. I find myself often battling some things with parenthood as far as the standards that my parents raised me by versus the standards of society now. Because if you take someone that was born in the 50s and you just throw them into our world now, they're going to be so confused and misconstrued. And I'm not just saying anyone that's just born in the 50s. I'm saying like someone that is, late 40s, early 50s, and they literally are active in our society the way that we are with social media and technology. Like they would not be able to maneuver. And vice versa. If you took us and put us in their era, we would not be able to maneuver because it's so different, the lifestyles. So I often find myself comparing, or finding a balance between what I was taught and what I want them to understand. Because I'm not just having them to the streets, not like, here you go, good luck. You know what I'm saying?
No,
however,
no way.
I do want them to understand that, right? But I do want them to understand that even from my parents to me, now from me to you, there's a difference in how we were raised and how they're raised. And by the time they're grown, the rules that we go by are not going to apply. And it's going to be the same with their children. So it's often a struggle sometimes finding that balance between the generations, because it's not like things just stay the same and we can go by that. But I just would continue to. I am continuing to find that balance, and just to do the best that I can. All of us are.
So this is my last question because we're running out of time. So
okay,
we just had this.
Told you I like to talk. Duh.
And I'll lose track of time, but then I'll be like, okay, what time is it? Okay, we got
right.
it. Okay, so we just had this beautiful inauguration with Kamala Harris. And I'm a political just addict. I love it. I've loved it since the third grade. For whatever reason, I was watching the Democratic convention. I was a nerd. Okay, I was a nerd.
No, you were not. You were just interested in what you. I try to not use those terms because I don't use the term nappy. I don't say nerd. I don't say geek. It's a couple words I try not to use when describing people because I don't want them to be like a nerd is a bad thing or a geek is a bad thing. Like I try to change the narrative a little. Like, no, geeks are cool. You're cool. You're good. You just like what you like.
So I would watch the Democratic convention. I would watch the Republican convention. And I was just into it. And I literally never thought that third grade Sharon would see a woman of my skin complexion, that holds the culture that I hold, ever be a vice president. Even the possibility now I can think of like, okay, well, we got a vice president, the possibility of a woman president, a Black woman president is there, you know, because when President Barack Obama became president, that was a big deal for me. But seeing a
It was
woman,
huge.
a Black woman that looks like, you know, looks like me and I can relate to, and who went to a HBCU, like I went to a HBCU and did all these things. And I'm like, I got to see.
It's amazing.
Like it brings chills to mind. So what was your feeling, your thoughts? How did you feel with your children seeing at them being so young?
It's really crazy for me to watch the process, and I wouldn't say crazy in a bad way, but you have to remember my very first time ever being able to vote at all was Barack Obama's first election. Okay. I'm that young. Yeah. You know, I'm that young, yeah. So my very first time that I ever voted was for a Black man to go in office, which was unheard of. That was my very first time. So my entire experience with politics has been crazy from the very jump, because the first time that I was able to be involved in something and be a part of something that was so monumental was just, it was phenomenal. So to see that transgress to a woman, like, okay, first of all, if you know me, I'm all about the ladies. Like, I love the ladies, supporting them, encourage them. Yes, sis, that is me all day. And I absolutely adore women. So to see a woman of our stature in office, you know, it's just, it just brings to light how hard we've worked to get to where we are. Yeah. You know, and it makes me feel so good. Like, my daughters now, you know, are running around with the little Dr. McStuffins kits, and, you know, and that's a Black kid doctor. Yeah. We didn't have that growing up. And that to me is mind blowing. So to see them, for them to experience in their lifetime, to experience a Black male president and a Black female vice president, is their entire perception on the political system is completely different from what I've been accustomed to. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's been a lot of conversations, a lot of you know, explaining, or, you know, what I try to instill is them that, yes, we are where we are right now, but do not forget what it took for us to get here. Yeah. And I feel the longer we go throughout history, that some of that, I have a fear that some of that may get overlooked or misconstrued or lost throughout time. So I really try to explain to them, like, yes, we are here, you know, but let me explain to you, because I feel like if we don't do it, our school books aren't going to do it. Society's not going to do it. So I try to instill in them and let them know, like, hey, this is where we come from. This is, you know, what we took to get here. And not only could women not vote, but Black women couldn't vote. Like, and then, you know, and then so on and so forth. So to get to where we are now, I just want to continue to encourage them and let them know, like, you really can be anything that you want. It's so easy as a parent to tell a child that now. Like, do you not know how much fun it is for me to convince my children that they can be anything that they want? There are Black ballerinas all over the place. There are Black superstars all over the place. There's a Black vice president. There are Black doctors and nurses and choreographers. You literally have anything right now that you can become anything. And it's so easy for me to explain. It brings me so much joy to explain that to them. Like, you can be anything.
Tears in my eyes thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like it's so emotional, but it's so exciting. It is. Because that's all we ever want, is for our children to be anything. So why wouldn't I be excited?
Have those barriers, or to have that constraint that we had, or we put on ourselves. And now that we're at the point where we're free, we want them to be free and to always be free, because freedom is more than just no bondage. It's freedom is a mindset. You know, one of our favorite songs was our favorite song is I Just Want to Be Free. My brain is not working right now, but you know, the singer we talk about all the time.
Which one?
Bunnie, my brain really just did a hard stop.
We talk about music a lot.
But it's an older Black lady. She was very.
Oh gosh, not Billy.
Not Billy.
L. I know who you're talking about though.
Cannot believe I can't remember it.
But I'm gonna go back and drop the link.
And if Damon sees this, he's gonna fuss at me that I don't. I can't.
Right, like you know who this is.
But her song talks about being free, like she just wants to be free, and it's more of a mental freedom. Like I want to experience what it means to truly be free. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think our children of this generation will have. And I think finally we as adults and as women are feeling that right now. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
It's so beautiful. I love it. I adore every moment of it. Like it's so exciting to me. It's kind of like, you know, I think about 2 years ago, I interviewed a Black race car driver. She was a woman, and she just was the first Black woman in NASCAR. NASCAR. NASCAR, there we go. Tired, y'all, I'm tired. And I interviewed her about 2 years ago, and it just speaking to her, just, you know, she's still breaking down barriers and she's still going through trials and tribulations. So by no means is the fight over, you know, that I don't think to any degree it will ever be over until long from now. However, the fact that she is where she is already progress from no one being there. Yeah, and it's just absolutely beautiful. So the possibilities are limitless.
Yeah. I want to end with that. Bunnie, where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook at Bunnie Mae. It's BUNNIEMAE. On Instagram at Bunnie the Blogger. You also can shop with me at shopswithseis.com. It's Shops with Seis, SEIS, which is an online women's shoe store, which we provide luxury shoes to women of all ages. So make sure you guys hop in and check it out.
Love you, girl.
Love you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming back.
Of course. Duh.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I hope I will see you again next week at Thursday at 7:30 for Dear Shay on Heal the City. Good night.
Thanks.